Starting in the name of Allah, who is the most merciful and the most beneficent. My dear fellows, students, colleagues, and associates, and my very dear friends, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Ahsan Alim, and today the topic that I have chosen to talk about is the tenses. And in this video, I'm going to talk about all 12 tenses altogether in one particular video. So let's begin. These are the contents that I have developed so far to talk about today. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is the introduction of tenses. I'm going to talk about classification based on time frame, classification based on aspect, the block diagram of tenses, list of rules, and I'm going to talk about present tense, past tense, future tense, and I'm going to discuss some of the examples as well. So these are a few things that I'm going to discuss in this particular video. So stay with me till the end of the video and try to learn everything that I'm going to talk about today. And if you have any questions, you can leave your comment in the comment section at the end of the video. And one more request, please don't forget to subscribe my channel for more videos related to this or the same type, because this way we can be a co-learner. I can learn from all of you, and I can teach you as well the different aspects of English grammar and IELTS and other things related to English language. Thank you. So the first thing, let's begin with the introduction of the tense. Now, when we talk about the word tense, it is actually derived from a Latin word, tempus, which means time. If you go back in dictionary and if you go to it, if you find the origin or etymology of this word tense, you will find that it means tempus, and tempus means time. A verb indicates the time of an action, event, or condition by changing its form. So in every tense there is a verb that we use, and verb forms talk about or represents an action, events, or condition that I'm going to discuss on the way. So this is the introduction of the tense. Now, when we talk about the time frame of the tenses, they are basically categorized in three different types. And if I say that the type number one, if you can look at the screen, so the first type is basically present time, second is past, and the third one is future. So we have got three different categories, as you can see over here. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna would like to tell you a few things related to this. Before I continue, I would like to tell you a few things related to this, which is about the tense. When I talk about present tense, it means let's discuss what these three times are. If I start with the past, so past means a history, something that's already done. Future means mystery. Mystery means something we do not know or we don't understand exactly all the way. And when I talk about present tense, it means I'm discussing about the recent event, which is now, which is as the word itself suggests, present. So present is a gift, so we must enjoy this. So let me recall or repeat everything. Past is history. Okay, now if you look at the definitions of these three different tenses, you will surely understand the differences among them one by one. Now let's begin with the present tense. Actually, present tense, I'm talking about all the present tenses in general. Present tense expresses an unchanging, repeated, or reoccurring actions or situations that exist only now or it can also represent a widespread truth, something that exists at the moment or now, right now. But when we talk about past tense, that basically expresses an action or a situation that was started and finished in the past. So it doesn't exist anymore. When you talk about future, future tense basically expresses an action or situation that will occur in the future. So these are three different definitions that you can see and understand. Okay, now, as I've already discussed the three tenses based on time, now I'm discussing those three tenses based on the aspects. So, verb tenses may also be categorized according to aspects. Aspect refers to the nature of the action described by the verb. So, there are four aspects of English tenses. The first one is indefinite, or you can also say simple. Second one is continuous, or you can say progressive. The third one is perfect, or its other name is complete. And the fourth one is perfect continuous, or some people call it perfect progressive. So these are four aspects of the tenses. And now it's time to define these four aspects one by one, their meanings and their situations or how they work. So the first thing is indefinite tense. The three indefinite tenses or simple tenses describe an action but do not state whether the action is finished or not finished. So the word indefinite itself says that something which is not sure or unsure situations. Now the continuous tense, the three continuous tenses means present continuous, past continuous, and the present continuous. They are also known as incomplete tenses or progressive tenses. They basically talk about unfinished action which is continuing or which is going on at the moment. Now, but when you move towards the perfect tense, the three perfect tenses, present perfect, past perfect, or the future perfect, they basically talk about or they describe a finished action. Okay, and the last but not the least, the perfect continuous tenses. Basically, if I talk about the perfect continuous, it's a combination, it's a combo. The complete tense and the incomplete tense altogether means it's a combo of perfect and continuous altogether. Which basically talks or shows the progress of an action which is started in the past. Like if I talk about the present continuous, it talks about an action which started in the past and is still continuing, and the same sort of definitions apply for the past and future as well. So you can simply look at the example and you can understand in this way that uh, something which was in progress and then finished. So when we show a progressive action or continuous action with the help of a time frame or a time period, in that category we go for perfect continuous tense. Here I am presenting the tree of the all verb tenses. You can see in present we have four different categories: present indefinite, present continuous, present perfect, and present perfect continuous. In the past we have past indefinite, past continuous, past perfect, and past perfect continuous, and the same is in the future as well. Like we have future indefinite, future continuous, future perfect, and future perfect continuous. Before I move further, I basically decided to discuss a very important topic, the verb forms. Why I'm talking and discussing this topic, there's a very simple reason that without understanding verb forms, it's very difficult for someone to understand the different tenses and apply these verbs in different tenses. So once you understand the verb forms, it's very easy for you to understand the tenses. So now if you look at the headings, I have mentioned first form, second form, third form, S, ES, IES form, and the fourth form, which is also known as ING form. Now, I'm telling you their technical names as well. First form is known as base form of verb, which is also the short form is BFV. And the second form is known as past tense, which means the short form is PT. The third form is known as past participle. Now, what is participle form? I'll make another lesson about a video about participles, and it's a complete topic to understand. So the third form is known as past participle, and as ESIS form, it comes under the umbrella of base form of the verb. And the fourth form is known as present participle. As you can see, PRP stands for present participle form, and some people also call it ING form. Okay, now here I present the list of rules of these tenses. As you can see on the left, you can see the names of three different times: present, past, and future, and there are four aspects. Now let's start with the present. So the first is present simple. In present simple, the verb we use is the first form of the verb with s, es, or ies. S, es, and is is used when the subject is he, she, it, or a singular noun. In that case, the verb is, verb ends with s, es, or ies. Now, present progressive forms or the formula is the starter sentence, or the verb forms that we use is am, is, are, or plus present participle, which is the fourth form of the verb. We also call it ing form. In present perfect, the helping verb is have or has, and the verb form is the third form, which is also known as past participle. And in present perfect progressive, the helping verb is has been or have been, and with that we use present participle, which is ing form of the verb. Now let's go towards the past. In the past, we use a second form of the verb, which is also known as past tense, and past simple. I was talking about past simple. Now when we move towards past progressive tense, you can see that the helping verb is was, were, and the first form of verb plus ing, which is also known as present participle or fourth form of the verb. Now I want to add or mention one more thing. When we are making sentences with past simple, in that one we use a helping verb, which is called did, but did does not come in the positive sentences. It always comes in the negative or questions. Now let's talk about past perfect. In past perfect, the helping verb that we use is had, and the verb form we use is the past participle. And past perfect progressive, the helping verb is had been plus present participle, which is fourth form of the verb. Now let's come towards the future. In future simple, we use the helping verb is will or shall. And here I would like to mention one thing, that the shall is old-fashioned. A lot of people are not using shall anymore. So, but if you use shall, so shall is used with I and we. For example, I shall and we shall. And with the rest of the subjects, we use will. But nowadays, people are using will with all the subjects altogether. So there's no problem. And with will, we use base form of the verb. So this is future simple. But when you talk about future progressive, in that the helping verb is will be, and the verb is present participle, means ing form. And in future perfect, the helping verb is will have, and the verb form is past participle, which is third form. Now future perfect progressive, it's hidden behind my video screen, but okay, let me explain myself. The helping verb is will have been plus present participle form. So if you look at this overall, table or the rules of the tenses, this is the most important one, and you must keep in mind all these things all the times. And now in this slide, you can see the aspects of present tenses. I have already discussed this earlier as well, like present indefinite, present continuous, present perfect, and present perfect continuous. Now this is very important. In this one, I'm explaining the present indefinite tense or the present simple tense. The simple present is used to describe an action, an event, or condition that is occurring in the present at the moment of speaking or writing. For example, or you can also say that there are 5 or 6 or 7 different more situations in that we use present simple tense. Let's begin with that. So whenever we talk about daily routine, we use present indefinite. When we talk about the habits, we use present simple. When we talk about repeated actions, we use present indefinite. When we talk about scientific reasoning, we use present simple. When we talk about newspaper headlines, we use present indefinite. When we talk about the commentary in cricket match, we use present indefinite tense. When we talk about a universal truth, in that case as well, we use present indefinite tense. If you could look at the example, so the first example is I play. So play is the base form of the verb. So if you remember, I discussed earlier the formula. And now over here, the second example is he plays or she plays. So as I mentioned that with he, she, it, or singular noun, S form is used over here. So this is all about present indefinite tense. Now, if I move further, you will look at the example of present continuous tense. The present continuous tense talks about an action which is continuing at the moment. As I am recording this video, I am talking about present continuous tense, and some examples mentioned over here, like I'm playing, he or she is playing, and they are playing. Now, this is the third aspect of present tense, which is present perfect tense. You can read this definition as well, but this is a very bookish definition, but I would like to give you another beautiful definition to understand this. Like, it talks about a past action, you know, it shows an action or a past action which was done and finished in the past, but the result is available at the moment in present. For example, I have played cricket, he or she has played cricket, or I have just one more example I would like to quote over here, like I have closed the door, and the result is the door is closed at the moment in the present. I closed the door in the past, but the result is available right now, and the result is the door is closed. So when we see the result of our past action in that category, or in that case, we use present perfect tense. Now this is the fourth aspect of present tense, which is present perfect continuous tense. As you look at the example, or the definition, the present perfect continuous is used to describe an action, event, or condition that has begun in the past, or that is started in the past and continues in the present, or still continue at the moment. For example, I have been playing cricket since morning. She has been playing cricket for 4 hours, or he has been playing cricket since yesterday. So when we connect a past action with present, which is continuous, in that case we use present perfect continuous tense. Now it's time to talk about past tense and its like aspects. The first one is past indefinite tense, which talks about a past action which happened in the past and finished in the past. It does not reflect anything in the present. For example, I slept last night yesterday. So there's no result of that sleeping anymore. I had dinner last night. I went to school 2 weeks ago, or I played cricket on last Sunday, and there's no result of that thing. So when there's no result of a past action, that is known as past simple or past indefinite tense. But if there is a result of past simple or past action, if there is a result of past action, that becomes present perfect tense. Past continuous tense talks about or represents an action which was continuous at some time in the past, at some particular time or a point of time at the present. For example, I was playing cricket yesterday at 3 p.m. or he or she was playing, or you were playing. So you can look at these examples to understand that. So it means that the action was continued at a particular time or at a point of time in the past. Now let's talk about past perfect tense. The past perfect tense is used to refer to actions that took place and were completed in the past. Or in a very simple example, I would say that, let's say, this tense is also known as a conditional part. It has a condition to talk about. For example, two different actions took place in the past. The first, and when we discuss these two different actions of past, the first one happened earlier in the past, and the second one happened in the distant past, means sometime back. So if you look at the timeline of the past, if you just look at the timeline of the past, for example, just quoting an example over here, the patient had died before the doctor came. So now these two actions took place in the past. So the first one is the death of the patient, and the second one is the arrival of the doctor. So if two actions took place in the past, first and second, so the first one is known as past perfect tense, and the second one is known as past simple tense. So present perfect does not work alone. It normally goes with the past simple tense. So that's the thing. Now here, this is the last aspect of past continuous tense, which is past tenses, which is past perfect continuous tense. The past perfect continuous tense is used to indicate that a continuing action in the past began before another past action began or interrupted the first action. For example, when we talk about a continuous action of past which was started at one particular time of the past and continued for for a period of time and ended over there. So when we show a period of a timeline of a continuous action in the past, so in that category we go for past perfect tense. And in the past perfect continuous. And in perfect continuous, we always use sense of for at the end of the sentence. For example, I had been playing cricket for 3 hours yesterday. She had been playing cricket, or he had been playing cricket for a few minutes. So in that category, we go for past perfect continuous tense. Now here I come towards my most favorite tense, which is future tense. Why I call it most favorite one? Because it talks about uncertainty, unsurety. It's a mystery. No one knows what happens. So it is based on forecasting and predictions. So because future is unknown to a lot of people across the world. People do not know. So these are four aspects of future tense. The first one is future indefinite. Second one is future continuous. Third one is future perfect, and the fourth one is future perfect continuous tense. So these are four aspects of future tense. The first aspect of future is future indefinite tense or future simple tense. The future simple tense is used to refer to actions that will take place after the act of speaking or writing. If I'm talking about an action and I'm simply forecasting or predicting that this will happen, so in that category we go for future indefinite tense. For example, I shall play. So we can look at the subject I, shall is the helping verb, and play is the verb first form, which is base form of the verb. And the other thing is he or she will play. So the same rule applies over here as well. Okay, this is the second aspect of future tense, which is known as future continuous tense. And in this one, we talk about an action which will which will go on at a fixed or at a point of time in the future. And if you look at the definition over here, the future continuous tense is used to describe actions ongoing in the future. The future progressive is used to refer to continuing action that will occur in the future, but it does not show a time frame. Okay, so for example, I shall be playing, he or she will be playing. So the helping verb is will be, and the verb is present participle, which is called ing form. Okay, now this is about future perfect tense, and if we look at the definition of future perfect tense, we can understand that the future perfect is used to refer to an action that will be completed sometime in the future before another action takes place. So we are talking about for example, forecasting of the completion of an action. That we mentioned that at some moment in the future, this action will have you know will have been done or will have been completed. So in that category we go for future perfect tense. Example is I shall have played cricket, or I will have done my work till tomorrow. So when we show or when we talk about an action, when we talk about the forecasting of completion of an action, in that category we go for future perfect. Now here I present the last aspect of all the tenses, but not the least, because after the tenses we have got the category of modal verbs, we have got the category of passive voices, we have got the category of direct and indirect speeches, we have got the category of causative sentences. So in my upcoming videos I will be discussing about all other possible ways of making sentences or making our English good in the futures, but now I'm talking about future perfect continuous tense at the moment, and this tense is basically talks about a continuous action that will be completed at some specific time in the future. And we also, in this one as well, we use since and for at the end of the sentence. And it also shows a time frame of the future. For example, at some moment of, for example, at 1 p.m. tomorrow, an action will uh, continue, and it will start until 5 p.m. So when we mention a period of time over there, so in that category we use the future perfect continuous tense. For example, I shall have been playing cricket for 1 hour tomorrow, or I will have been playing cricket since morning tomorrow. So I'm showing the starting and ending point as well. So it means the time frame or the period of time. So in that case, we use future perfect continuous tense. Okay, this is most probably the last part of my video today. And in this one, I'm going to talk about examples of all the tenses. Or I'm basically summarizing all the examples in one go. Now, if you look at present, in simple forms, I simply say in present simple, I play. Present progressive, I'm playing. Present perfect, I have played. And present perfect progressive, I have been playing. So these are the examples of 4 different aspects of present tenses. Now let's talk about past tenses. The first aspect is past simple, which is I played. Past progressive, I was playing. Past perfect, I had played. And past perfect progressive is I had been playing since morning. Now, let's talk about the last one, which is future tense. And the first aspect of future tense is future simple or future indefinite. In that one, I shall play. Future progressive, I shall be playing. Future perfect, I shall have played. And future perfect progressive is I shall have been playing since morning. So these are the examples, or these are the very true and perfect examples of all 3 tenses and all 4 aspects of each tenses. And if you like my videos, and if you like my lectures and the topics that I always choose to talk about or give presentations on that, I will request everyone to please subscribe my channel and press the bell icon. We press the bell icon to, whenever I upload a new video, you will get a notification of that. And if you want any of your friends or any of your fellows want to learn or want to know about all 12 tenses, please don't forget to like my video and share as well. And one last thing I would like to tell you that if you have any queries, if you want to know anything, if you want to make any comments, if you want to give any feedback, there's a comment section at the bottom of the video over here. Please give me your beautiful and good comments. And if you have any queries or any questions, you can ask me over there as well. So thank you so very much for staying over here, and don't forget to subscribe my channel and like and share as well. So thank you so very much. This is me, Hassan Alam, signing off at the moment. Thank you so very much.